So there's many great masters who teach Vajrayana, no? How to purify the impure thoughts, impure view, no? How to change our attitude in 1 second, 1 instant. In 1 instant, instead you always develop, you always have negative thoughts and a negative view, no? You just change your view, negative view, impure view into pure view. We change our negative thoughts and negative view into perfect pure view. We are in heaven now. We are pure land of Buddha. Okay? And in our body, also, there lives countless angels, Buddhas who live in our channels, in our heart chakra, in our crown chakra, in our navel chakra. There lives our body, the human body is a pure kind of body where lives countless Buddhas and deities and protectors. In every channel, in every chakra, in every cell of body lives countless Buddhas. Sangye, there lives countless Buddhas, angels to bless us. We are one with all the Buddhas. Our body is home of all Buddhas. And our mind, nature of mind is the essence of all the Buddhas. Our nature of mind, the essence of mind is Buddha nature, God nature, Allah nature, and divine nature. So we simply have to realize it, believe in it, you know. By believing in it, by transforming your negative thoughts and impure thoughts into pure thoughts and pure view, you can, in the 1 instant, you can transform yourself, you can purify yourself, and you can liberate yourself. Because the liberation is your nature. The freedom is your nature. Your nature is forever loving nature, forever peace nature, forever God nature, forever pure nature. So naturally we are no, pure. Naturally we are immaculate. Naturally we are loving. Naturally we are forever free. The freedom nature. So we believe as it is, the truth or essence, just as it is. We believe it, no, and enjoy the treasure. To transform your negative thoughts into pure thoughts, positive thoughts. To transform your impure view into pure view. Only you can change. The changes in our hand. You know, like the remote control is in our hand. Sometimes the children, they accidentally see the horror movies, no? And children are crying. They don't know how to change the channel, how to delete the horror movie, you know. And they watch horror movie and they cry, oh, they're screaming, you know. But it's not the nature. It is not the horror movie. Is not something unavoidable. If you don't like horror movie, if you suffer from horror movie, you delete this horror movie channel and change a good channel, singing and dancing. You know? So, and the remote control is now in our hand. The nature of mind is the creator, you know, and it is the remote control. So that's why in the teachings of Buddha, even in teachings of Hinayana, teachings of Mahayana, and teachings of Vajrayana, Buddha introduced the wisdom of enlightenment, the wisdom of selflessness. To realize self, you must realize that Buddha teaches us the wisdom how to realize your self-nature, your essence. Self-realization, no? The self-realization is realization of selflessness. Now we think self exists, ego exists. You know, when ego exists, self exists, then pain exists, suffering exists. If you believe ego, then you believe in suffering and fear, all the pains that is given by our ego, of misunderstanding of ego existing, you know. So you were suffering, everybody is suffering because of our ego, because of our fixation, because of our selfishness. thinking of self, believing in self, thinking of ego and believing in egoism is a source of pain, source of suffering, source of catastrophe, source of misery, you know. As long as you don't give up to believe your ego, to believe your selfishness, and until you realize that you are by nature selfless nature, egoless nature, you know. When you realize you are, the self-realization is the realization of selflessness. The realization of the truth is that we are by nature by nature free from self, free from egoism. No? So this is our misunderstanding. We could not know the nature of our mind, which is the Almighty God nature of mind, which is forever peace nature, forever loving nature. We did not realize nature of mind, which is forever blissful nature, forever pure nature. We did not realize our own nature, our essence. Because of that, we are punished to suffer with our ego, to suffer with our selfish self kind of existing self-grasping, you know. If you don't realize your nature of mind, which is a Buddha nature, which is a loving nature, which is a selfless nature, which is a wisdom nature, if you don't realize this, you got in trouble. Your misunderstanding bring all the trouble. Thinking that you exist, self exists, ego exists, and we cherish our ego. We cherish ourselves, and we become selfish. We become aggressive. We become greedy. And out of this, we also commit all kinds of sin. As a result, you experience endless fear and suffering. So as long as we grasp to our ego, to ourself, we will become victim of endless fear and suffering and catastrophe, caused by our own misunderstanding, thinking that we exist, I exist, self exists. So the antidote. The antidote is self. What you think it exists, and you have so much self-grasping, so self doesn't exist. There's no self. Everybody's space. For example, if this Vajra, this thing is suffering, this is only example. This Vajra is suffering because this Vajra thinks he is not a space. He is a small form, this form, with this shape, with this color. And he grasps on this. He has fixation on this. That's why he suffers. This Vajra suffers. It is breakable. And also, this Vajra can beat others, bring pain to others and to himself. This is example. So once the Vajra knows that I'm space, all the space, all these elements which made this form, elements of water, elements of fire, elements of wind, elements of earth, these all elements which are compound together, which essence is, every element's essence is space. Space is the where it comes, where it appeared, where it comes from, where it was made, and space is where it rests, and space is where it dissolves, when it breaks into piece. So this Vajra knows that I'm space, not a Vajra, not this form, I'm space. Because indeed, the essence of all, the nature of all the elements, physical elements, their nature, their very much nature is space nature. No? So that's why Buddha says, Kewa kane ya mayung, kandu ya mendo. No? Kepa kane ya mayung, kandu ya mendo. Nawa kane ya mayung, kandu ya mendo. No? Shiva kane ya mayung, kandu ya mendo. So all the nature of every phenomena is a space nature, which is beyond coming and going. The existence of bird didn't appear from anywhere. The bird did not appear from anywhere. and it will go nowhere. It appeared nowhere. It comes from nowhere and it go nowhere. You know? Because all this existence, all these elements, including our body, comes from space and comes from space. You know? And go back to space. Space is beyond coming and going back. Space is calm by nature. Space is beyond kind of change, beyond kind of coming and going. Space is beyond movement, beyond kind of beyond coming and going. Space is beyond birth and death. Space is beyond suffering and happiness. You know? So we have to simply concentrate the nature of all elements, nature of all phenomena, which nature is immaculate, emptiness nature. No? Peace. All phenomena are forever peace nature, freedom nature, calm nature, and emptiness nature, and space nature, and forever loving nature. It's beyond change. The nature, which is everybody's nature, which is forever loving nature, emptiness nature, peace nature, it is stably forever there as everybody's divine nature, which is beyond change, beyond birth and beyond death. So that's why we have to know the space nature of our mind and the space nature of all phenomena. Another name, another way to say is we must realize the emptiness nature of our body's mind and emptiness nature of all phenomena. You know, we must realize the emptiness nature of all phenomena, the space nature of all phenomena, the space nature of ourselves, which is beyond fear and suffering, beyond birth and death, beyond change, beyond coming and going, space. So our nature is forever calm, forever peaceful, forever emptiness, and forever pure, and forever immaculate, and forever beyond coming and going. So if this Vajra who is suffering, who feels painful because he thinks he exists, so only way to remove his pain, free himself from this pain and this misunderstanding is that one day when this Vajra knows that I am a space. I am space, I come from space and live in space and dissolve back to space. Space is my home. That space is beyond birth, beyond death, beyond fear, beyond suffering, beyond going and beyond coming, beyond destruction. So when this Vajra knows that he is a space, you know, this Vajra will forever free from fear and suffering. No? Huh? So we have to realize Buddha introduced the divine essence, divine nature, divine truth of our body's mind, and Buddha introduced the divine essence, divine nature of all phenomena, which is forever freedom nature, which is forever emptiness nature. Because nature of all phenomena is the emptiness nature, that's why nature of all phenomena is forever peaceful nature. Because emptiness is by nature peaceful nature, loving nature, freedom nature, and blissful nature. No? Nature of our mind is forever peaceful nature, forever freedom nature, forever blissful nature. Because why? Because nature of our body's mind is by nature emptiness nature. No? Because nature of every phenomena is emptiness nature, that's why nature of everything, nature of all phenomena is by nature loving nature, peaceful nature, and calm nature, and freedom nature. So, like, that's why a lot of people misunderstand. And they say that in teachings of Buddha, or this something like, is it like a nihilism, you know? Emptiness, selfless nature, emptiness nature is like nihilism, you know? A lot of other religious people, philosophers, they have an argument. How can be everything emptiness? How can everything will be like emptiness nature? Not possible. How you can say this? That the nature of your mind is selfless nature. Your self, nature of yourself is not self, but nature of your self is selfless nature. You have no self. You just grasped and misunderstood things never exist. So-called ego and self, which you think it exists, it never existed before, doesn't exist now, and it will never exist. No? Nature of ego is, it never existed before, it never exists now, and it doesn't exist now. It is beyond existence. It's beyond ego. But so, you misunderstand yourself. Things doesn't have a true existence at all, doesn't have true existence and true existence. You think it exists. This is your ignorant, you know? This is your misunderstanding. Because of that, you invite all the pain and suffering because you think self exists, ego exists. And then ignorance exists. And then pain and suffering exist. And then anger exists. You know? And bring in more and more catastrophe. So when you realize that you yourself is beyond existence, there you are pure by nature, peaceful by nature, calm by nature, freedom by nature, and emptiness by nature. You are beyond form. Like Heart Sutra, there's no form, no sound, you know. So when you realize the emptiness of all phenomena, emptiness of your body's mind, when you realize selfless divine nature of yourself. As long as you cling that self exists, you are not divine, you are not holy. Because self is painful. Grasping to self and believing in self is believing in pain. Invite all the pain and suffering and misery. You know? So, for example, there's one story called says there's like hundreds of knife, you know, very sharp knife is hanging around. There's crowded of hanging sharp knife, which can cut every physical pieces into 1,000 pieces, you know. So if there's one person who have a big head, you know, so he cannot survive. He will bring a kind of miserable pain of cutting his head. Because he thought, because of his big head, each and every sharp knife will cut his head in 1,000 pieces. It is a catastrophe. So we say, whose fault? His fault of the sharp knife which is hanging around everywhere, cutting everything, or it is a fault, it's a fault, unfortunate fault from the person who has a big head. More bigger head you have, you cut your head into thousands of pieces, you know. If you have no head, there's nothing to cut. You know, if you have no head, there's no cut. If you don't grasp on your ego, if you realize the selfless nature of yourself, and there's no obstacles, no fear and suffering can attack you, can bring pain, cannot bring pain. So all the suffering, the pain is invited by the wrong thinking of self-existence. You know, I exist. So when you realize the space nature of yourself, you know, if that big person who cut his head 1,000 times and 1,000 pieces, if he realizes, I don't have a big head, I don't have head, I don't have either a small head or big head, I have no head, I am a space. You know, this person who believes that he has a big head, because that his head got again cut and experienced all kind of disaster, if he realized, I have no head, you see, I am a space. So there's billions of sharp knife hanging around, and there's nothing cut because space is space. You cannot cut space. Space is uncuttable, undisturbable, unchangeable. So we suffer. We all sentient beings from hell to heaven experience all kinds of suffer because we thought we exist, self exists, and we grasp on ourselves, and we invite all kind of negative emotion. No? No? And we experience all kind of disaster, pain and suffering since beginningless to until forever, until we realize that self don't exist, self have no existence. Selfless nature of yourself, egoless nature of your mind, and egoless and selfless nature of all phenomena, until you realize the emptiness nature of all phenomena, you will be victim of endless fear and suffering. But once you realize the selfless divine nature of yourself, egoless nature of yourself, selfless and emptiness nature of all phenomena, you are free. You are free forever. So this is what Buddha is talking about, Buddha's wisdom. So we must realize the selfless nature of ourselves and selfless nature of all phenomena through our meditation. First, through hearing these teachings from your spiritual master, from your Buddha. You hear the wisdom enlightenment, which introduces the emptiness nature of yourself, emptiness nature of all phenomena. The wisdom enlightenment which introduces forever loving nature of yourself, forever blissful nature of yourself, forever freedom nature of yourself, forever emptiness nature of yourself. You hear this teaching and then go back and sit down and contemplate the meaning of the teaching. Our mind is by nature born with clarity and judgment. Because somebody introduced your own divine nature, which is absolutely selfless nature and loving nature. Your nature is absolutely selfless nature. That's why your nature is forever loving nature. Why somebody become so selfish, not able to love others? Because they don't realize the selfless nature of yourself. Because that you cannot become a loving nature. You cannot enjoy a loving nature. You cannot be a loving person. As long as you don't realize selfless nature of yourself, you can never become a loving person. Because our the misunderstanding of self-existence will make us always selfish, and never let us to be loving. So the moment we realize the selfless nature of ourselves, then at the same time we know the forever loving nature of ourselves. The wrong thinking of self-existence doesn't let us to realize our nature, which is forever loving nature. So it's like dark and light. The light is that you are forever selfless nature. That's why you are forever loving nature. But as long as we misunderstood that we have self, we have self nature, we have a self-exist, we have grasping of self, it's the biggest obstacle, biggest obscuration to reach your essence or realize your essence, which is forever selfless nature. When you realize that you are selfless nature, you become loving nature forever. When you realize the selfless nature of yourself, and you realize the freedom nature of your mind. When you realize the selfless nature of yourself or egolessness nature of yourself, you realize the freedom nature of yourself and the freedom nature of all phenomena. You realize the loving nature of yourself and loving nature of all phenomena. You realize that the forever blissful nature of yourself and blissful nature of yourself. When the self disappears, when self-cherishing wrong thinking is deleted, it is purified, and you realize the selfless true nature of yourself, then you become forever. You can reach your nature, which is forever loving nature, forever peace nature, forever freedom nature, forever Almighty God nature, Almighty Allah nature, Almighty Saminda Badra nature, or Bajardara nature, or whatever you can say. You reach your essence. You're okay. You become light. You enlighten yourself. You're free from all the darkness. Who invite darkness? Self-cherishing attitude. Wrong thinking, misunderstanding of that self exists. Bring all the darkness. Throw you in the darkness of samsara. And become victim of endless fear and suffering. Catastrophe, you know. The dual element of the great Gampopa. No? Korwan de Hichil Truna, Tombani le Trulo. Korwan de Hichil Trona, Tombani le Trolo. So that the basic, the truth or essence or nature of all phenomena is emptiness nature. When you don't realize this emptiness nature of yourself and emptiness nature of all phenomena, then the suffering, endless fear and suffering of samsara exists. You give birth of samsara because you don't know the true essence of yourself, true nature of yourself, which is space nature, which is emptiness nature. Because this you give birth of samsara, give birth of endless pain and suffering of samsara. Now when you realize the true essence of nature of yourself, which is forever selfless nature, emptiness nature, you give birth of your true essence, realization to your true essence, you achieve great nirvana. So it's like samsara and nirvana is like coins which has two faces, you know. Samsara also appear from emptiness. Nirvana also appear from emptiness. No? So when you realize, sometimes you say samsara nature or samsara is forever emptiness nature. No? Some samsara never appears. Samsara is beyond appearance, beyond existence. Samsara is beyond coming and going, because the nature of samsara is, which is emptiness, is also beyond fear, beyond suffering. If beings who live in samsara, if they realize their own nature and nature of all samsara, which is emptiness nature, that moment the samsara transforms into nirvana. Darkness transforms into light, you know. Yes. If you realize that through the emptiness nature of yourself, emptiness of all phenomena, of course you reach enlightenment and you will be free from fear and suffering of samsara forever. But even you have little doubt about samsara, about emptiness, yeah, maybe. Even you have a little doubt that, you know, the selfless nature of yourself and the selfless nature of all phenomena, the emptiness nature of all yourself and emptiness of all phenomena. If you have a little doubt, little glimpse of doubt, you know, towards emptiness, it will purify countless lifetimes of negative karma. You know? Even in your intellectual level, if you understand the meaning of emptiness of all phenomena yourself, you purify countless lives of negative karma. You become infinite times more closer to reach your essence, realize your essence, which is emptiness nature, you know? And then when Buddha was teaching the great wisdom of emptiness, there was a lot of monks, you know, monks who have just I think thousand monks who have difficult to realize emptiness. They think I exist, self exists. That's why I must get a self-liberation. Because I exist. I must get self-liberation. You know? I have self. That self is suffering. So, through Buddha's teaching, I want to get self-liberation. You know? Not saying selfless, you know, self-liberation. For that purpose, they receive the teachings of Buddha, and Hinayana teachings of Buddha, and they have chance to realize the selfless nature of yourself. But one time, Buddha introduced, when he was teaching the wisdom enlightenment, wisdom of emptiness, those 1,000 monks was there, who have a fixation on their selves, existence of self. And then Buddha give these like teachings like the so-called self, what you believe, never exists before, never exists now, and it is forever beyond existence, never exists. No? So when Buddha teach the selfless nature, the wisdom of selfless nature of all phenomena, and emptiness is nature of phenomena, all these 1,000 monks, they get a woman blood. They have so much fear. They always believe, they used to believe that the self exists. You are doing everything because you self exists, you know. So when Buddha says, self, you don't exist, self never existed before, doesn't exist now, they got shocked. They all get heart attack. And purify all the countless lives, self-grasping kind of sinful belief and sinful thoughts and sinful action. They die. Next life, they all born as human being. All these 1,000 monks who died with heart attack, they come, they purify the negative karma of self-cherishing, self-believing, you know, negative karma, and they all, 1,000 people come one day, become a monk, you know, and they receive the teachings of Buddha of emptiness. They all realize the emptiness nature, selfless nature of oneself and all phenomena. They all reach enlightenment. They all become great bodhisattva. Otherwise, if they don't hear the teachings of selfless nature of yourself, the emptiness nature of all phenomena, maybe they will, for countless lifetime, they will grasp in their own self, and they try to get the self-liberation, and countless time they enjoy the self-liberation without helping any all sentient being. You become a selfish, liberated person. This is the biggest sin. This is the biggest. This is awful kind of things. You are liberated yourself. You don't experience pain and suffering, you know, but you become self-liberated. You get liberation only for yourself, without helping all mother sentient beings, without having loving compassion to all mother sentient beings. It is like for the bodhisattvas, this is the greatest. Biggest sin, biggest obstacle. So they remove their obstacles, which is a self-cherishing attitude, through the teachings of Buddha, teachings of emptiness, and teachings of selflessness. They purify their karma in one instant, you know, and next life they're born as a great bodhisattva who is ready to listen the teachings of the wisdom of enlightenment, teachings of selflessness, and realize the selfless nature of themselves, and they become forever loving great bodhisattva. When you realize selfless nature of yourself, only then you become you realize the forever loving nature of yourself. As long as you think self exists and cherish yourself, you misunderstood yourself, which is forever loving nature of yourself is disturbed, obscured by wrong thinking, wrong believing of self. The moment you realize the selfless nature of yourself, then you become this forever loving nature of yourself, and you become great bodhisattva who always love all, you know, and benefit all. So if we have little intellectual understanding about this wisdom of selflessness, wisdom of emptiness, it is the greatest purification for ourselves. No? It is the greatest opportunity for ourselves to realize the selfless true nature of ourselves, which is forever loving nature, which is forever peace nature. Self doesn't let us to be peaceful, to be loving, to be free, and to be happy. No? No? So when we delete the self, because we realize the selfless nature of ourselves, emptiness nature of ourselves, then we are free to realize the true nature of ourselves, which is forever loving nature, which is forever freedom nature, which is forever peace nature, which is forever enlightenment nature, which is forever Buddha nature, God nature, Allah nature, you know? Okay, you know? May this teaching purify ignorance and misunderstanding of countless human beings. May this teaching wake up countless human beings to believe and realize their own divine nature, their own divine truth, their own divine essence, and essence of everyone, truth of everyone, and countless human beings reach enlightenment. Kaya mangalam, om waga mangalam, ajita mangalam, hong sarva mangalam, hare 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 hare. Sarva Buddha Bodhisattva Guru Devana Gini Dhamma Pala Savari Pare Vare. Kaya Shanti Om Vaga Shanti Ajita Shanti Hong Sarva Shanti Hare 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 Hare. Nandi Bhajan Sijeni Kudu Amanita. Nandi Bhajan Sijeni Kudu Amanita. Nandi Bhajan Sijeni Kudu Amanita. Konzum Guru Anjali Kudu. Konzum Guru Anjali Kudu. root master, root guru, 16 Java Karmapa. One time he told me, you and me, we are one. Yes, 16 Java Karmapa, he told, that you and me, we are one. Yes, I think 16 Java Karmapa, my root master, have blessed me so much. You know, and he really blessed me that I am forever one with him. I think all the spiritual activities, all these things what I'm doing, I am fulfilling my root master who blessed me like him, you know. So this is my root master, 16 Jalwa Karmapa's contribution. His universal loving compassion, his wisdom enlightenment is teaching you, protecting you, blessing you, and blessing and protecting our world. Yes? And this 16 Jalwa Karmapa is one with Mahamudra Padmasambhava also. Padmasambhava. And Kunhegyes Rinpoche, one of my root master. Sangye Rinpoche, who is my root master. Rinpoche. No? Many of them, they pass away. They really bless me that I become one with them. So I don't exist. I am nothing but my supreme blessing of all my masters who bless me, you know, doing everything, you know, serving everyone. I think you are seeing my root gurus, all the great masters, all the Buddhas, you know, blessing you, teaching you. They all are teaching you through me. I am like pipe which carries the nectar of, flowing nectar of Dharma. You know? So I want everybody to develop equal respect, equal love, devotion towards all the spiritual masters, all the divine gurus. And you must develop your heartfelt devotion and belief to all the divine beings, protectors, all the great teachers. Respect them, love them, learn from them, and never condemn them, never criticize them, never make yourself to think, never make yourself to have negative thoughts. No? Rejoice them, appreciate them. In this world, there still exists many masters who teach the Holy Dharma, who represent the universal loving compassion and the universal wisdom of Almighty Buddha and Almighty all the great Bodhisattvas. They represent the divine blessing, divine guidance, the teachings of countless Buddhas and countless Bodhisattvas, great beings. They are still alive. They are teaching us. You know? They are praying for us. They are blessing our world. You know? Accept them, appreciate them. Then you will accumulate limitless, countless virtue. And I will all bless you, bless all of you and everyone. Oh, thank you. And support all the great beings, you know. And join your heart with their heart of universal love and universal peace and universal responsibility to protect our world, to bring peace, unity of all religion and all humanity, you know. Don't let yourself to be crazy with our extremes of anger, extremes of greediness, extremes of selfishness. Release, you know, help yourself, protect yourself from your own enemy, which is our ego attachment, our own enemy, which is protect yourself from your own misunderstanding, from your own ignorance, from your own anger, from your own greediness, which cause so much suffering and pain for yourself and causing pain and suffering to others, you know. Protect yourself and protect everyone else, no? So this world is now changing, no? This world is changing. And I believe it is changing towards good things, you know? Changing towards goodness, you know? Changing towards peace, changing towards unity and changing towards free from turbulence, you know. Oh, 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 oh. Sangye. Gombo Shepa de Meba, Hindu, Naming Bas, Yuki Yavola, Chantalo, Chudo, Yazujo, Tenzin, Tetashi George, Om Namo Bagawa de Apare Meda, Yana Zubene, Sudan Zorazaya, Dadangadaya, Desanya Sambudaya, Tadia, Pune, Pune, Mahapune, Apare Meda, Pune, Apare Meda, Pune. Yanozambaro Jidam Sangara Pare, Hude, Damade, Gagana, Samunga de Sabo, and Bikude, Mahanaya Pare, Waraya Soha. Right, all the best. Thank you, thank you. Thank you very much, everybody. People who are very interested, people who are very devoted, people whose heart is open for this kind of a spiritual knowledge, this kind of spiritual instruction, guidance, you are welcome. It is your greatest fortune, it is your greatest meaning that your heart is open to be spiritual, that you dedicate yourself to participate this kind of spiritual event, listen the teachings, and participate these ceremonies, and you feel good, you feel happy for this. This is your greatest gift, greatest opportunity that you have taken well. Congratulations. Thank you. Jai Ho, Jai Ho. Thank you.